someone that has an expertise in a certain area. And because she has that expertise, what we want to do is like we talked about with Golden State. We got a point guard, we got a shooting guard, we have a small forward, we got a power forward, we got our center. But what we got to stop doing is we got to stop playing that one-on-one ball, that 21, half court. That don't work no more. I mean, it was good when we was young. And like it says in the Bible, when I was a child, I spake as a child. And I did childish things. But when I became a man, I grew up. And one thing is, being a man, you want to make sure that you're doing things that are going to help to improve your overall well-being from a financial standpoint. So definitely excited about having her to come on to the show. She's going to be on a little later. When we complete her interview, we're going to talk about a couple of topics that I've been thinking about that's been in my spirit. I actually had them on the agenda last week, but we didn't have enough time to get around to them. So I'm going to bring them back. I'm going to recycle my agenda from last week or really keep it going, just keep extending it. So one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about dreams, we're going to talk about goals, and we're going to talk about savings. Dreams, goals, and saving. Dreams go, happy birthday. Happy birthday, D. I'll be there. I'll be there a little late, but save me a little something. I see you. Appreciate the support. Top Cat was just on. I think he dropped off, but he'll be back. But that's the thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to, happy birthday, Skilly. I see you. Anthony Bernard Jackson, 52 years young. Boy, you don't look a day over 50. You don't look a day over 50, boy. I seen that picture Farron posted. I was like, boy, you don't look a day over 50, man. You look young. You a young 52, bro. But I love you, man. So we're gonna make sure we stay in the spirit of doing that. So that way we don't think we got to do it all. Just let's get out of that mindset. You can't do it all. You can't take on the Lakers by yourself. You just can't do it. So we have to learn from other people as they're doing things. And this is something that I heard from T.D. Jakes. And he made it real simple. He said, if you want to be successful, you got to be able to, it's only so much you can do with your two hands. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find a way to align yourself with other people so they can put their hands in it. So now instead of you having just your two hands doing it, now you may have four becomes eight becomes 16, and it just grows exponentially. So that's really what tonight's show is going to be about, is dreams, goals, and savings. Because savings is something that we don't talk about a lot. A lot of people don't talk about saving. Most of the time, the conversations that we having with our family and our friends is about what we brought. You know, who got the new car, who got the new whip, who has the new house, but we don't talk a lot about, because savings, I guess, is kind of boring in a sense. It's like, you know, you show up at the party, the barbecue, or we go to the 50th birthday party and say, hey, man, what's been going on with you? Nothing, just been saving. I just been saving. I just been saving and saving. So it just don't, you know, that ain't something that we talk about a lot, but we got to make savings cool. We got to make it where it's like, because it's going to be better to have something and not need it than to need it and not have it. So we're going to have to make savings cool again, and so that way we can also pass it on to the next generation. So when you do go to the party and they say, man, I got the new whatever, say, yeah, me too. But what you been up to? Not just saving. That's it. Just saving, just chilling. but we gotta do ourselves some justice, because the thing about savings is going to put you in a position where people are always going to have the opportunity for you if you have prepared for the opportunity. People are always going to have an opportunity for you if you prepared for the opportunity. Because when they show up, the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. So you need to be ready at all times. So start with a few savings. I'm talking to myself too, because I was thinking about some things today. I was like, man, shoot, I like my car, I like the way it rides and everything, but I went back a couple of shows, like show number 10. I was like, I might need to take that car. I may need to take that car back to them folk, man, and take that money and save it. But I'm going to hang in there. You know. I believe in God, and I think God has a purpose for my life. So I think he's gonna bring me through. He already took me through that one. Hopefully he don't take me back down that road no more. But if he do, I'll be on this show and I'll still be doing it. Y'all will help me get through it. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. So the call in, the number to the station is 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. And if you have something that you want to say, if you want to call into the show, ask a question, our guest is going to come on around like the 8:15 time period, and we want to make sure that we're respectful of her time. Like I said, she has some powerful information for you. I mean, because one thing that sometimes we don't get exposure to are people that are experts in their industry. So when we get the opportunity to speak to someone that, and what I call or consider the expert is somebody who's already did 10,000 hours in their chosen field. That's the expert. Not the person that went on YouTube and looked at a video and said, okay, I know how to do. That's not the expert. I'm talking about somebody who's been grinding, working on a certain task, working on a certain skill set, working in a certain industry for a certain period of time. 10,000 hours, that's the threshold. Once you get to 10,000 hours, anything above that, then you become the expert. It's just like getting a black belt. It's like becoming a master chef. It's like becoming the highest level of masonry that you can go. It's like being the Karate Kid. You know, Karate Kid had to put in some time with Mr. Miyagi. He couldn't just come out there. It was wax on, wax off. So, you know, you gotta if you're gonna be around people that are experts, it would definitely bless your life because they know some things that we don't know. Because this is what they do on a daily basis. So really what I'm trying to do is educate my audience, make sure the people that follow the Daily Bread Show are keeping me honest as well, so that way you don't feel like I'm the source. I'm a conduit. I'm a conduit. So people may look at me and say, well, I know Joaquin, he ain't a millionaire yet, and I know, him and Tanya that's cool, that's good. But I'm a conduit, I'm a vessel. I'm gonna bring you to something that you wouldn't have otherwise had exposure to. So that's my role. My role is to expose you to things that you otherwise wouldn't have been exposed to. And we're going to keep growing it like that until we get big on YouTube and we turn it to a YouTube sensation, and we go from a YouTube sensation to have our own radio and TV show and merchandise and all these other things. And we're going to be helping people because that's what it's all about for me. I'm here to serve. I mean, all of that was divine intervention that went into that. So we have a few minutes before my guest comes on, so I'm going to talk about dreams a little bit. I know I've touched on this topic before, but I think it's important, especially for people in our generation, because I'm 50, and this past weekend I was, privileged to go back to Duval. I was down in Duval this weekend, and I seen some friends that I hadn't seen in like 30 plus years. Like literally, I hadn't seen some of these brothers since like 84, 85, 86. But when we saw each other, it was like, wow, I remember. And the funny thing about that, when you see people like from your childhood or people who know you from back in the day, the first thing they start talking about is what? The way you used to be and what they remember about you. So this one brother, he was like, he came to our school, he's supposed to be the top pitcher. I'm the top pitcher. So he started telling people he's better than me. I'm like, it ain't nobody better than me. Ain't never made nobody better than me. I'm the best. So when I seen this brother after 30 plus years, say 31 years, I ain't seen him since 84, 85. First thing he come up and do is say, man, you can't outpitch me. And we both bust out laughing. But I'm saying that to say, just because we 50 and 51 and 52, this ain't the time to stop dreaming. This is not the time to stop dreaming. Don't let life get you so down that you think this is it, and then you done pull the plug on life like, oh, I'm gonna just be, man, get out there. If you want to do the salsa, I learned how to do a little salsa last week. I got nervous doing that. I was chopping it up, but I'm a live. So if you're gonna be around me, we're gonna do some dreaming. We're going to put that Maybach in effect. We're going to put that boat. But we also going to do what? We're going to do some saving. You thought I was going to go straight. We're going to get the boat and the car, but we're going to get some saving too. So I ain't forget about that. You ain't gonna have me hanging out there and making sure like I'm hypocritical, because that's one of the things I just cannot stand. People say one thing and do something the opposite. That just don't rest in my spirit. So we are gonna do some saving, but dream. If that's your dream to have a business, dream. If that's your dream to have, cars and houses, but it's just a certain way to do it. But dream a bigger dream. Just keep dreaming a bigger dream. So don't make God come down to you. It's like the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, that art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So I just believe in that. I believe that God will do whatever we ask him to do. And don't make God little because we want to think little. Man, don't put no limit on nothing. You can do it. I promise you. And if we gonna do it, we gonna do it together. So if you think I'm crazy now, man, wait till this YouTube sensation thing pop off. Well, I'm gonna be a fool. We gonna be in this mug dancing. We got a studio now. We got chairs. So, the next time that you all are in the Atlanta area, you'll be able to come out and join us. And this is me and my producer. We sitting up here just dreaming. That's all we doing. We sitting up in there saying, man, put some chairs out there. Let's start doing some similar. It's chairs already in this studio behind the camera here. We already got chairs in the studio. There's nobody sitting in the chairs right now. The chairs are empty. But we did that for a purpose. We have a purpose for that. All of the chairs are empty. They're going to stay empty until we put some people in the seats. But that's just us dreaming. And it don't even faze us. We got lights. We got cameras and stuff. And we don't even have no people. It ain't nobody in this studio but me. So if y'all in Atlanta, man, come down here. Come and sit in our studio, man, so we can speed this thing up, man. We being faithful, but come help us out, man. No, I'm just tripping, man. But you gotta laugh about it, man. We got so much to be thankful for, man. We got so much to be thankful for. Rest in peace. One of my classmates just passed, and his burial yesterday, man. Alvin Rolight. Rest in peace to that brother. Graduated with me, man, and that's why I laugh a lot. That's why I joke a lot on this show, because tomorrow is not promised to us. So, I heard somebody calling, and it might be that time. Thank you for calling. Wait a minute, you gotta let me introduce you first. You can't be calling and talking about it's 8:15. You talking to me, and we got an audience. We got a bunch of chairs in the studio. Ain't nobody in them, but it's people on Facebook Live. It's people on the radio. So I'm saying me and you gonna have a conversation, but the conversation you and I gonna have are gonna be so that way we can help our audience to just learn more. I was telling them about you before you came on, Jen, and we're not gonna do any last names. I'm gonna give you all some ground rules. We're not doing last names. We're not doing where you work. We're not doing none of that. We're going to keep it what we call high level. But the thing that, the conversation that you and I are going to have tonight is going to be about you being the expert, and not to put you on the spot, but one of the things I've been talking about on my show is that this is show number 16 out of 1,000. So I got 1,000 shows to go. I got 984 shows to go. So one of the things I was thinking about, because you have a wealth of information, is bringing you back on like month to month, or because I think with the information that you have is so pertinent to everybody. So what I'm going to do first is I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and like I said, you don't share no last name, because I don't want nobody reaching out to you, circumventing me, trying to go to the expert. But just share with them your first name and tell them a little bit about yourself as far as what you do, how long you've been doing it, and why you have this. How did you gain this wealth of information? Dang, you don't have it coming through here.
It's doing that.
Oh, okay.
Got this.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions because I know you, Jen. You got so much information. Let's do it like this, so that way we can. Because sometimes we're a little we're a little bashful about when we the expert, and I know you got a humble spirit. So let me ask a question. When you say you've been in the auto, how long you been in the auto industry? How long have you been processing loans in the auto industry? Okay. Okay. So that was 23. Okay. It's been a long time ago. Okay. That's some good stuff because long time ago stuff is good. That means you ain't getting nothing new. So that's a good thing. So when you look at what we call your portfolio, your book of business over the last year or 2 years, like what would you estimate as the amount, like the aggregate amount or the total amount of loans that you have processed or closed in the last 12 to 18 months? This year's, that's just for this year. Okay, Facebook family and everybody that's on the air. Now listen, I'm not talking to Kevin Durant. This is Jen. Jen said, let's be clear. So I have to break this down so we all, because that's mind-boggling to me, because I went and brought my little car. I thought I was doing something, but Jen like the Kevin Durant of this thing. She said, now this is August. So today is the 3rd of August. So she said in 2017, she's already, and we not finished. So so you said in 2017, you've already closed $27 million in auto loans. Okay. So are we saying that you're projected, like when you look at 2017, what do you think you're going to, like when you finish everything and it's New Year's Eve and y'all popping bottles and waiting on the New Year, what do you think your projected total's going to be? Okay. 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 In process loans, right? Loans that have come. Okay. So you made a very important point. So we're not even talking about the ones. So these are now check this out, audience. Those numbers, the 40 million or the 36 million, whatever that big million number is that she said, those are the ones that got funded. But just guess what? She gets a tremendous amount of applications, I would assume. So I'm making an assumption. So you could correct me, Jen. So I'm going to assume that you also get a large number of applicants that we talk about on this show that don't get funded, right? Okay. So that's in addition to the 40 million. So in addition to that, She's also looking at applications over a 20 plus year period where she can tell you, and I've seen it in action. I'm gonna just brag on you a little bit, Jen. When I saw her in action, I said, you gotta come on the show. Because she was able to glean, you know, that long application. You ever been to go buy a car? And when you go and you fill out that long, you know how long that thing is that you filling out? Where you work, where your mama work, where your brothers and sisters work, when the last time you had a job, how many times you been late, that long, you know how long that application is? I seen her go through there and look through that. Nope, yep, nope, doop. And I was like, God dang. Because you go to buy a car, that's all day. Jen's doing it like this. So she knows this stuff in her sleep. So I appreciate you taking the time to come and, you know, addressing the Daily Bread audience. And one of the things that I've been stressing with the Daily Bread, you know, my audience is that we really need to get in the habit of aligning ourselves with the experts. So I would consider you an expert in that field, Jen. And so the next question would be, in your experience, with the volume of loans that you close and the amount of time that you've been in the industry, what would be your top 3 mistakes that you see consumers making when they go out to apply for an auto loan? She on the phone, dog. She ain't in the studio. Woo! Boy, she bringing that. Boy, she bringing that heat. Ooh, she bringing that heat tonight. Boy, I told y'all. I told you when I did that post. She bringing that heat. Now the funny thing is this, Jen, because I'm taking notes because I believe, you know, I tell the, you know, the Daily Bread audience that when you listen to my show, make sure you got a pen, you got some paper, you know, take some notes, you know, so that way you can go back and read your notes, because this is like going to school. I mean, it ain't every day you're going to get to talk to someone that is going to be able to give you some insider information. Now, the funny thing about this is this. Here's the funny thing. We've done 16 shows. We've already done a show on the components of credit. We've talked about the credit history. We've talked about utilization. So these are things that, Daily Bread audience, these are things that we've talked about in the past. Well, I'm telling you, these are the things that you need to know before you start to go and deal with the expert, which is the car salesman. Because when you come popping up there, you got your little, walk, they see you coming, you got your little walk, you walking up there, they like, you know what I call you. You the entree. Somebody, it's several people getting ready to eat off of you. You the entree. But if you equip with the knowledge, if you know your utilization of all your credit cards, if you know, and the first thing that we started off the show with in February was what? A budget. I even walk you through how to create a budget with a calendar so you would know exactly when everything was due, how much you owe, everything. And this young lady's coming on saying exactly what we've been talking about. And when she's saying the cost of credit, in the finance world, what they call that is the cost of capital. So we bring that down into our world. We say the cost of credit, but the cost of capital in the finance world is, that's what banks look at. If I can borrow money at a low interest rate, then I don't have to make, when I'm trying to make a profit, if I can borrow money at 1%, I only need to do 2% or better and I'm gonna make a profit. And it works the same way in our world. If your credit is low and your interest rate is high, you got a higher note. You can get your credit score up and have a lower note and make more and have more money to do some other things with. So that's the kind of stuff that we've been talking about and we educating everybody about. And those are the type of things that you need to do. So Jim, what would you like? Let's just say in an ideal world. So we're gonna play, because we've been talking about, before you came on, we was talking about dreaming, right? And in an ideal world. So if we're in an ideal world, what advice would you give our listener audience about just the 3 steps that, if they don't do anything else, the 3 things that they need to come equipped with to the dealership before they even think about buying a car? Tried the mic. Boy, listen here. Hey, listen. I'm taking notes, y'all. So y'all, I hope y'all taking notes because I got it right here. So when Jen not on, I'm gonna be the expert. I'm gonna be like, look, these are the 10 things. When Jen not here, I'm gonna be the car expert. But all jokes aside, these are things that these are topics, and I appreciate your transparency, Jen. And these are things that we have talked about, but then some of the things that we haven't talked about are things like pressure to buy. If anybody's purchased a car, especially when you go to a dealership, if you go to a dealership, like Saturday's coming, if you go to a dealership Saturday morning and you pick out the car you want to buy, I guarantee you it's going to probably be dark before you leave there. If you go in and you don't know what you're doing, and once they get you into, because they always tell you like, yeah, don't worry about it. We got you. Because the first question, and this is something that a car salesman told me. I got a good friend. I'm going to bring him on in a few weeks. And this is he's a car salesman, but this is a good guy with a good heart. And the first thing he told me, he said, man, we don't ask how much you can afford. We don't want, he said, the first question, he said, this is the cardinal question. Where do you want your monthly payment to be? And that's the first, before they ask you what you're looking for. When they introduce themselves, the first thing they say, hey, where you want your car note to be? Because that's going to tell them where they can put you at, how much money they can get. And then when you don't know your score, if you go in there and you say, well, I want that, and then they go in there and run your credit, if your credit is below, say, 600, or it's not favorable, when they see that, that's like the jackpot for them, because now they like, Jen is giving you a 10% interest. That's already, high, but your credit ain't where it needs to be. So then they come behind Jen and say, look, because they don't know what Jen doing behind the scenes. We giving you some behind the scenes stuff. So for all of us, and I say us, not all of you, all of us that have car loans, and whatever your percentage is, you might be at a 7%. But now you got to go back and think like, damn, did Jen give me a 5% and they tacked on 2? You know they did because they had to make a profit. They ain't in the business of just shaking hands and kissing babies. They had to make a profit. So whatever your interest was, just know Jen gave you one number and then they added on something on top. And if your credit not where it's supposed to be, Jen may give you 10. They might throw 4 points on top. Because you ain't going to know because your credit bad and they going to say, hey, man, I sure want to do the deal for you, but guess what? The credit didn't come back like we thought it was, so this is what we're going to have to do. Because you do want the car, right? You do want it. And at that point, you feel vested, like almost like you embarrassed to leave because yeah, especially men. I ain't even going to talk about young ladies, but a brother or a sister, or the men, because when we get caught up in that pride thing, I can afford it. Man, that note start hitting you upside the head. That car don't look as beautiful as it did when you drove it off the lot. So when you go to the car lot, you got to come prepared like you come prepared for everything else. When you go to get into a ring in a prize fight, you going to fight, Conor McGregor, or you going to fight Floyd, you're not going to walk off the street and walk into the ring with one of these type of guys, right? You're gonna train, you're going to prepare, you're going to jump rope, you're going to run. It's the same thing when you go to buy a car. You got to research it. You got to find the total cost. You got to look at your budget. You got to look at where your credit score is, where your utilization is, what your payment history is, what your new credit is, what your inquiries are. You got to do all of this before you even think about going to get the car. So if you do one of these numbers, I'm asleep, I'm up, I'm about to go buy a car, you done. You toast. You could forget about it, man, because that day, you're going to be the entree, and somebody's going to be eating off of you. I promise you that. So, Jen, I guess in closing, because I don't want to keep you the whole show, and I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing this, what I call insider information with us. And I'm going to leave you with this. What are some of the things that you see, and this is for all of us, this is education for all of us. What are some of the things that you see that the car dealerships or the car salesman do in the process of submitting the app in order for them to make the sale? I'm talking about where they trying to, like, when you see it, you like, nah, this ain't gonna fly, but they done already like, well, can I put this or can I take credit for something else? What's this music? You don't get it, brother? But what if I got a large cash down payment? What if I bring in this whole lump sum of cash? What does that do for me? Powerful, powerful. Well, Jen, I definitely want to say thank you. I appreciate you taking time out to address our listening audience. I want to keep you in the loop so that way maybe next month I can get you to come on in September and we'll talk some more about financing, because everything that you're sharing with the listening audience is definitely true, and I want to make sure that we keep everyone informed so that way we can tap into the expert, and then the expert can tell us, or they can send in questions maybe on Facebook Live, or you can email me at dailybreadradioshow.com. Email me some questions. I'll get them over to Jen, and you may be in the process of right now buying a car. So if you need some help, if you feel like, hey, let me get another set of eyes on it, let me talk to an expert, it would just always work out better for you if you elicit the support of an expert, somebody. This is what she does day in and day out for the last 20 years. So does she know it? By all means. She knows it inside and out. And this is a person of genuine character that can help all of us. So Jen, I want to wish you a great evening. Again, thank you for coming on to the show, and I'll be in touch with you. All right, thanks, Jen. Hey, you too. Appreciate you. Woo! Woo! Boy, I told you she was gonna bring that heat, boy. She was I'm telling. Listen, man. Listen. Well, I can't say man because I know we got young ladies on too. Listen, what I'm saying to you. Think about this. If you in with the Daily Bread radio show, and this is my vision, so I'm gonna share some of my vision with you all, the listening audience. I'm looking to create a program where it's a subscription service. You pay a certain fee, and then you have access to all these different products, kind of like AAA, right? AAA is cool. They'll do, change your tire, jump your car, bring you gas. You don't really benefit from it, or it's no value until you need it. But when you need it, you need it. So I'm looking to develop a similar type of service on a subscription type of platform. But within that, what I'm doing is I'm vetting out different experts in different industries that I know we use throughout our lifetime. Now, everybody's on Facebook Live and it's on the radio show. All of us bought some type of cars. Many of us, when you think about being 50 years old, many of us have probably bought 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars at this point. And that still doesn't mean that we have the process right. So it would be like, you would have access to someone like Jen if you were part of the Daily Bread Network, where you could say, hey, I'm looking to go buy me a Corvette, or I'm looking to buy a Porsche 911, and this is what I want. How powerful would it be to take your information and to be able to run it through somebody like Jen, and she could tell you exactly from her perspective? Because the thing that she didn't share with you all is this. She has the behind-the-scenes data analytics that the dealerships are sending applications to get approved. So behind the scenes, you have a person that's behind the scenes that can tell you exactly what range you're going to be in, what you need to be looking out for. Don't go for this. If they tell you that, do this. That's powerful. That would be worth the subscription. It's just like with AAA. AAA is pretty inexpensive, but get locked out of your car at the end of the night somewhere, and you're the only person left at the party. It's worth it. Then it becomes worth it because that's when you need it. It's valued at that point. So I just wanted to put that out there. Have multiple other experts that I'm really looking to vet out and put into that same program, because I have another gentleman that I'm going to bring onto the show that's on the other end of the spectrum. This young man has been in the car industry for about 25 years, and he started off as a car salesman, and he's progressed all the way through being a general manager at a major dealership. So he knows all of the ins and outs, and now he's considered a car expert in the industry, to the point where every week a car manufacturer sends him a car to drive for a week. Listen to this now. This is when you know you're the expert. Sends him a car every week for him to drive for 7 days. And at the end of the 7 days, the only thing they ask him to do is to rate their car and to provide his feedback. I'm talking about every kind of, he didn't have he had a Mercedes, he had that S550 Cabriolet. I didn't even know Mercedes had an S550 Cabriolet. I know they had like the C and the E-Class. This thing was so nasty. But then he's going to tell you the ins and outs about a car. Everything from this car has a lot of problems with the catalytic converter. This car is known to have brake issues. This car is really not a high-performance car. It's just marketed that. He's at that end of the spectrum. So just think about that. You got him and Jen coming together, and you get to have access to both of them before you even go out to a dealership. And I'm talking about both of them are dealing with stuff nationwide. I mean, Jen's territory is the Northeast, but these are national dealers that we're working with. So one of the things, no, that ain't even the right picture, man. The Cabriolet convertible, S550. But just having access to that type of experience is something that we traditionally have not done, because we've taken that I'm going to get it done by myself type of attitude, But you're not going to get it done like that. You need to have a team behind you. You need to have a team of people that you can reach out to, because that can make the difference in you paying 10% interest, 7% interest, 5% interest. And I like the fact that she brought up the credit union. And I've shared that with you all before. Me and banks don't get along. I'm gonna just be totally honest. I'm not sure if anybody works for a bank, and if you work for a bank, then me and your relationship ain't got nothing to do where you work at. So I'm just saying, for me, what I learned from the credit union is the only place I've ever been able to go, put in an application, and say the application wasn't approved initially. Like they said, no, you're not approved. Can you imagine going back in there and saying, why? Have you ever, I challenge anybody on this radio broadcast or on Facebook Live, if you submit an application to a bank and the bank says no, you're not approved, you're not asking nobody why. You don't even have the opportunity to say why. They don't say why, they say bye. That's basically what they say. They like, bye, see you. But at the credit union, the young lady came out, spoke to me, told me what it was. She said, you know what, Mr. Thompson, we'll go back and look at it. You have some valid points. Went back in, and guess what? The loan got approved. I was like, oh my goodness. That's just me personally. That credit union thing is powerful, powerful. So if you work through your credit union, I know in Duval, you got Vostar, and you know, Anheuser-Busch has one, and Longshoreman got one. Go through that credit union, find out what you can and can't do. And the other thing that she brought up, which is very powerful, is that you could take the purchase order back to the credit union before you sign the purchase order, and let them look at it, and they'll go back and tell you about what she talking about, that croak and choke, the things that they add on, because they did it on one of mine. They're like, oh, you don't need that. Oh, you don't need that. You don't need that. And I was like, bet. Hey, that'll work for me. But you got to have people and teams of people working for you on that. I know we're getting short on time, but we talked about dreams. Real quickly, I'm going to start off this topic. And if you want to call into the radio show, if you got a comment, if you think the content that we're sharing with you is very usable, viable to everything that we do, then call in and let us know. 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. And one of the things I want to start off and talk about is the power of savings. And I'm going to take the last 7 minutes of the show. So we won't get to goals this week, but I'll make myself a note to let's do goals in 2 weeks, because next week we won't be on the air. We're going to be at Masego, which is a gospel networking event that we have here in Atlanta, the second Thursday of every month. So I won't be on next week live. We'll play a recorded show, a previous show, but then I'll be back on live the following week. But we'll take the last 7 minutes to talk about savings and the power of savings. Many times what we talk about on the show is related to credit, budgets, things of that nature. Savings is a habit. This is a habit. We joked at the beginning of the show about, spending. Spending is a habit, because spending is something that you get into, and if you think about it, you could have $10,000 on a credit card or on a debit card, and when you swipe it, you don't feel it. But I guarantee you, if you put $10,000 in cash in your possession, like in your pocket or in your purse, and you start peeling off them hundreds as you were spending it feels a lot different, and you act a lot different when you spending cash that way. But we got to get out of the spending habit and get into the savings habit. Why is that important? That's important because of this. Life happens to everyone. And this is something that one of my friend's father, and he was on earlier, I think Whop is still on. This is something that Mr. Turner taught me a long time ago. In addition to his son, me and his son was good friends. We still are good friends. Not we were, as in past tense. But his father taught us at a young age that life happens to everyone. And you need to have access to capital. Meaning what? He said, just start saving something. So if you save in something, what that's going to do when you start talking about financial freedom and being financially stable, if something comes up in your life, furnace goes out, transmission goes, something happens with the house, You know, had one of my friends, he had a house fire. He was out of his house for like 3 months while they rebuilt it. Yeah, we got insurance for it, but guess what? He was displaced while they had to rebuild it. So it was some cost involved with you need to have some type of savings or a reserve so that way if something happens in your life, you're able to deal with it. But the other thing is going to benefit you is as life happens, people are going to come to you for assistance with things that are valuable. I got a house, I own it free and clear. I need $20,000. I need to get out the country. Okay, you ain't asking no questions. But if you don't have $20,000, it's no deal for you. The house may be worth $100,000, $50,000, whatever it's worth. But a lot of people are not going to have readily available capital. I'm not talking about capital where you got to put in and fill out the paperwork and then it'll come back in like 3 weeks and you got to see if you're going to be approved. We're not talking about, I'm talking about somebody calling you and you say, hey, you know what, I'll be right over. I can get that done. But starting with something small, even if it's just, you know, $50 a paycheck, $25 a paycheck, start getting in the habit of doing savings because savings will change your life. Savings will help you improve your credit score because as you get in the habit of saving, guess what else you're going to get in the habit of? Paying bills. And as you get in the habit of paying bills, you're freeing up more cash. As you free up more cash, you're able to save more. And as you're able to save more and you stop that spending habit and you get with some experts, now you have more money available to you from a savings standpoint. So that's a key principle in financial literacy where we really have to start focusing on savings and don't worry about it's only $50 or $25 because most people statistically in the U.S., they said less than 30% of the people have any savings in the U.S. It's 300 million people in the United States. They said less than 30. This is the research. You can Google it, like we always say. Don't believe me, go out and research it, right? Less than 30% of people have statistical analysis says that less than 30% of the U.S. population have any savings. So we're going to talk about our August special too. And we've talked about this before. If you have a business, small or large, anything that you do, you may braid hair, you may have a lawn service, you may do graphic arts, you may have, you know, a network marketing company. This is a great platform in order for you to promote your business. So we're running a special this week, well, this month, the month of August. For only $100, you can get your business set up where we can do marketing, advertising for you. And that runs through what, the end of the year? End of August?
Yes, it's August.
Okay, so this is for August. You can pay $100, and for the month of August, we'll come on, we'll promote your show. You could be on multiple shows because we have multiple personalities on DKM Radio. And then what we'll do with that is it gives us the opportunity, if you do it within the Daily Bread, then what I'll do is each week when I come on, I'll talk about your show, maybe even bring you on, interview you, let you talk about your, you know, what your business is. So that way it just helps you to get your business out. So some people may say from a business standpoint, like, wow, $100, it's Facebook Live, it's radio, it ain't really worth it. Let me tell you, as a business owner, entrepreneur, for $100, what you have to do is go back and look at the cost of acquiring one customer. That's all you need is one customer. So whatever you're doing, if your cost to acquire a customer, and you also have to look at the second thing, which is something is called the lifetime value of a customer. So I'll give you a quick little story. I used to go out to barbershops and beauty salons passing out cookies when we had our bakery, just passing out cookies and business cards. Cookies, business cards, cookies, business cards. From that cookie and that business card, which was an investment, we bought the cookies and so on and so forth. So it was, just say $100. We had people come in the bakery and say, you know what, my daughter getting married. I want you to do my wedding cake. Bingo. Boom. Not only that, then they became lifelong customers. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, that same customer came by and purchased something. So if you have a business, small business, and I know we've been talking about that, and even if you're not in the Atlanta area, the way technology is now, we can promote your business, you know, via the internet, Facebook Live, you know, on my show. And I would love to promote it because, you know, I would love to get, you know, 5. Let me say August. I'm going to say August. That's going to be my quota for August. 5 businesses to take advantage of this advertising, and I'll promote your show to no end. I'll promote it to no end because I know I'll be helping someone to reach their financial goals. So thought I forgot about it, but it's just, hey, this is just like school. Didn't forget about you all. The book of the week. I keep grabbing these ones with no cover. I'm sorry, and I apologize for that. But this is a very powerful book. It's called The Leader in You from Dale Carnegie. And the reason this book is very powerful because it has different topics about things that will actually change your life. Dale Carnegie was he is the pioneer and I guess you would say the founder of basically effective public speaking. So all of these people that you see out now doing motivational speaking, Anthony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, all of that came from Dale Carnegie. And Dale Carnegie did this in the early part of the 20th century. So I'm gonna share something with you because we've been talking about teams. And one of the things that he talks about up for teaming up for tomorrow is called create a shared sense of purpose. People working together can accomplish tremendous things. What gives a team that special boost is the unified vision the individual members share. The ideas, the creativity, the intelligent sparks will ultimately have to come from the group itself. But a strong leader is often needed to focus all of the energy, to clarify the vision, to establish goals, to help everyone understand that what the team is about, to show the team members how their accomplishments will impact upon the outside world. They've been selling this book since the early 20th century, and to date they've sold over 15 million copies. So this is one of those books that you have to have in your arsenal. It's called The Leader in You by Dale Carnegie. Make sure you go pick up a copy. Yours will have a cover on it, but like I say, I use books. I don't just get them and put them up. As you can see, I mean, all of them got highlights, and I write the margins and everything, because books are written to be used. So with that being said, another awesome show. We want to thank Jen for joining us again. We'll bring Jen back on in September. Make sure that you stay tuned in to the Daily Bread Radio Show. If you feel like you know somebody that should have been listening to the show that weren't on the show tonight, send this out to them. Send it to them. Tell them about the show. Help me to promote it, because this is all I'm going to be doing for the next 984 shows. So this is my 16th show. I appreciate you all. I appreciate my wife, Tanya Alfred Thompson. I love you. 26 years in the game, and we still cooking. We still cooking. Thank you to all of my friends, my family. I love you all, and thank you for the opportunity for me to continue to dream and do what I was, created to do, which is to serve. That's it. Y'all have a great evening. I love that song. Turn that up. You know, I'm not joking. They know you can't dance and be over there trying to dance.
Can't dance a lick. Lord, yeah. Can't dance a lick.
I love this show, man. I love you, sis. I see you, Clara. I love you, girl. Y'all do your thing. I love this thing, man. I love it. That was a hot show, boy. That was hot. Hey, you had to comment on that today?
Huh? No, I was trying to show it on.
Man.
I'll always have a positive word because I'm here to serve.
That's it, man. You good. Ain't got nothing to do with you right there.
Hey, that's it.